There is someone you cannot stop thinking about. Maybe it happened slowly, maybe it happened in a single moment. But at some point, your brain decided that this particular person mattered more than everyone else, and nothing you do seems to be able to change that. You call this love. You assume it is uniquely human. You assume it is uniquely modern. You are wrong on both counts. Love did not begin with poetry. It did not begin with candlelit dinners or wedding ceremonies or diamond rings. It began somewhere in the deep human past, before any of those things existed, before language was sophisticated enough to say, "I love you," before anyone had a word for what they were feeling. And it was doing the exact same thing to ancient human brains that it is doing to yours right now. The biology of love is ancient. When you fall in love, your brain releases a specific cocktail of chemicals. Dopamine floods your reward system, making the other person feel necessary to your survival. Norepinephrine spikes your alertness, making you hyper-aware of everything they do. Serotonin drops, creating the obsessive loop of thought that makes it impossible to concentrate on anything else. And oxytocin builds a bond that deepens every time you are physically close to them. This system did not evolve recently. Neuroimaging studies show that the brain regions activated by romantic love are among the oldest structures in the human brain. The same regions that activate when you are hungry, when you are in pain, when you desperately need something to survive. Your brain does not file love under emotions. It files it under needs. But how did ancient humans find each other in the first place? Without dating apps, without bars or restaurants or offices where people happen to meet, without any of the social infrastructure we rely on today? The answer is that they did not need any of it because they already lived in the most intimate social environment any human being has ever occupied: a band. A hunter-gatherer band typically contained between 20 and 50 people. Everyone knew everyone. Everyone had known everyone since birth. There were no strangers in the group, and there were very few secrets. In this environment, attraction worked very differently than it does today. Today, you can perform a version of yourself for weeks or months before someone sees who you actually are. You can curate your best moments. You can hide your worst ones. Ancient humans had no such option. The person watching you across the fire had watched you every day for years. They knew how you behaved when you were afraid. They knew how you treated people when you were tired and hungry and frustrated. They knew whether you shared what you had or kept it for yourself. They knew whether your courage was real or performed. There was no first impression. There was only accumulated truth. Anthropologists studying modern hunter-gatherer societies have found something that consistently surprises researchers raised in modern cultures. Attraction in these groups is overwhelmingly character-based, not appearance-based. Generosity is the single most consistently cited attractive quality across virtually every traditional society studied. Not physical strength, not conventional beauty. Generosity. The person who gives more than they take. The person who shares without calculating the return. The person whose presence makes the group better. That was the person everyone wanted to be close to. That was the person ancient hearts moved toward. But love in the ancient world was not purely practical either. There is evidence of something far more tender hiding in the archaeological record. In a site in central Italy called Valdarno, researchers found two human skeletons buried together approximately 6,000 years ago, face to face, arms reaching toward each other, their hands not quite touching. Archaeologists named them the lovers of Valdarno. They were young, both of them teenagers at the time of their death, and whoever buried them placed them exactly like that, facing each other, reaching, as if the person doing the burying understood that these two belonged together and made sure they would be. The ancient world also had courtship. It simply looked different from anything we would recognize today. In virtually every traditional human society studied by anthropologists, music appears as a central part of attraction. Singing, drumming, dancing together. The coordination required for synchronized movement is a genuine signal of social compatibility. When two people can move together in rhythm, it demonstrates something real about their ability to attune to each other, to read each other, to respond to each other in real time. This is not decoration, this is information. Your nervous system is collecting data about this person through every shared movement, and it is making assessments that go far deeper than conscious thought. There is research from 2005 by anthropologist Helen Fisher, who spent decades studying romantic love across cultures. She found that the experience of passionate romantic love appears in every human culture ever studied, without exception. Every culture, every era, every geography. The specific rituals around love differ enormously. Who is eligible to love whom differs. The expression of love differs. But the experience itself, the specific disruption of the brain that makes one person feel necessary and irreplaceable, that is universal. It's in the biology. It was always in the biology. There is one more piece of this that almost nobody talks about because it's the part that makes the whole thing feel genuinely strange. Modern humans in Western cultures fall in love an average of 3 times before they form a lasting partnership. Hunter-gatherer societies studied by anthropologists show a different pattern. Relationships in these groups are more fluid in early life, more exploratory. But the partnerships that form in midlife show remarkable stability because they are built not on the excitement of novelty, not on the performance of a curated self, but on years of real knowledge about a real person. They didn't fall in love with someone's best version. They fell in love with someone's actual version, because that was the only version available. Tonight, somewhere, 2 people are experiencing something that has no adequate explanation. A feeling that a specific person matters more than logic can account for. A disruption in their brain that evolution filed under survival rather than romance. The same chemicals, the same brain regions, the same bewildering loss of equilibrium that your ancient ancestors felt, sitting across a fire from someone who made the rest of the world go quiet. We built an entire civilization trying to make sense of it. We wrote every poem that has ever been written about it. We made every song. We told every story. And after all of that, after 300,000 years of trying to explain it, it still feels exactly like it felt the first time any human being ever felt it, like something you could not have chosen and would not have changed even if you could.